What's up, guys? For the past 2 weeks, I've seen nothing but Debby Ryan memes. Everywhere I look, on Twitter, on Instagram, Debby Ryan is staring back at me. And they finally got me. I have to check this movie out. It's called Radio Rebel. I think the only show I ever watched with Debby Ryan was Sweet Life on Deck, and I don't remember her ever acting like this, but maybe she did, who knows? But the memes have broken me down, and I need to watch this movie. Now that's what I call rebel music.
This is Radio Rebel, live from the underground. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are, because I'm one of you.
I get what she's trying to say there, but it sounded a little bit creepier than it should have. You don't know who I am, but I know who all of you are. I know everything about you.
Guys, these are all labels, not who we really are. Once upon a time, being different was a good thing. Now those differences just divide us. You deserve to embrace your awesomeness. Stand up for who you are. Reject the status quo. I dare you.
They gave the entire message of the movie in the first 1 minute. I guess we're done. Usually they save that for the end of the movie and they just decided to give us the entire meaning of the movie and the opening credits are still going.
Radio Rebel
Was awesome.
as usual. Reject the status quo is my new life motto. She's so inspiring, so herself.
I wish I could be more like her.
Oh, okay, so Debby Ryan is Radio Rebel, and she's also the shy girl at school. So when she's Radio Rebel, she has the confidence, and when she's not Radio Rebel, she's very shy. So it's exactly like Hannah Montana. It's the same movie, right? Isn't that what Hannah Montana was about? So this movie came out in 2012, and Hannah Montana ended in 2011. So they just remade the exact same movie a year later, and I'm on to you, Disney. I see what you're doing.
She goes to our school. She mentioned it at minute 14:30 in Tuesday night's podcast.
Wow, obsessed much, Larry?
Obsess? Please! I would hardly describe myself as obsessive. Obsessive. What? It's flu season.
Did Radio Rebel predict the coronavirus? This movie was ahead of its time. He's wiping down the buttons.
Guys, how do we reject the status quo when the status quo is status quo?
Like Radio Rebel said, be ourselves.
So it's a great message so far, rejecting the status quo, being yourself. I just don't know why we're only 4 minutes into the movie and they just keep telling us exactly what the message is. Like everything we need to learn, we've already learned in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Audrey was trying to get me to listen to some podcasting class. Of course I said no.
What? No, I mean, I never.
You know that there's an anti-distraction policy. Let me see your bag.
But I wasn't even listening to it.
Oh, and now you can't, can you?
What? I've never had a teacher do that. I've never even seen a teacher just straight up mock one of their students. Definitely a classic Disney movie move. They take like a stereotype of a teacher and then times it by 50. But if a teacher did do that to me in class, I would pop out laughing if I just said something and the teacher's like, "Nyeh, nyeh, 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 nyeh."
Now you're Gavin of the G's. We're going all the way, baby. Recording contracts, sold out stadiums. G's for life? G's for life.
Why does every Disney character have a secret handshake? I never walked through high school and just saw people doing handshakes. Maybe that's why it's a secret. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. Did I miss out on a big part of high school that I was supposed to experience was the secret handshake? So Radio Rebel finds out that her crush is now in her classroom for the day, which totally freaks her out. She gets up and leaves. But why did you have to leave the classroom? Couldn't you just sit there at your desk and just text your friend and be like, "Hey, I'm freaking out right now"?
Please remember the following things.
It's a good thing we're in class together now. Saves me from having to find you later.
Oh, and why would you have to find me?
Just want to ask you something about prom.
I feel like that's the kind of line that only would work in the movies. If you half these lines, if you said it to somebody in real life, that's exactly the same thing a stalker would say. "Hey, good thing we're in class together. Saves me from trying to find you later." Yeah, 911? So after that, Radio Rebel gets called to the front of the classroom, but because she's shy, she gets really nervous, freaks out, and gets embarrassed in front of her crush. After that, we see a montage of people listening to Radio Rebel on the internet, including her own family.
I don't even know who to be when I see the guy I'm crushing on, which is probably why I never talk to him.
Doesn't her voice kind of sound the same? She has more confidence, but her voice still sounds pretty much the same. It's not like she's changing her voice completely like Batman or something. Hi, I'm Radio Rebel, and you're watching Disney Channel. If my parents were obsessed with my radio personality and then just like ate dinner with me, I think they would find out pretty quick that I was probably the same person.
So this is good, right? I mean, here we are, we're hanging out and we're listening to Radio Rebel and together.
Together.
Oh, he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure it out.
It's weird. I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, so since he still can't figure it out, she just has to come out and tell him that she is Radio Rebel. She's like, how are you not getting this? How do you not understand that I am Radio Rebel? Fine, I will just tell you.
Stop. Huh. Where'd she go?
Oh, she's using a voice modulator. Sneaky.
And that rounds off the final set for my favorite local band. Now, here is an extra long track just for you guys.
It still doesn't change her voice that much, but apparently just enough that the stepdad is like, oh.
You're Radio Rebel?
That depends. Am I in trouble?
No, of course not. I don't know how you're doing that. I mean, you're so shy.
I don't know how you're doing that. You're so shy. Wow, way to just twist that knife even more. So once the stepdad finds out that his daughter is Radio Rebel, he instantly loves her like 50 times more and also gives her a job at his radio station. Not to give her more exposure, but because he knows it's going to take his radio station to the next level.
I can't believe it. I mean, we're going to take Slam FM to the next level.
And the mom's really excited too. They're like, you know, we loved you before, but now we really love you.
FM needs. Since the last show that I produced with Snazzy Dog crashed and burned, there's a lot hinging on this, right? Including my job. No pressure, right?
What a pep talk. No pressure, but my job is on the line. And also, if you mess this up, I'm gonna divorce your mom. That's right, I'm divorcing your mom. So with those words of encouragement, they just throw her right on the air within 5 seconds and then just hope for the best. No training, just you're going on the air in 5 seconds. Don't mess up. And magically, she doesn't mess up. As soon as she's on the air, she goes from extremely shy to this.
It's the Radio Rebel Show.
This is Radio Rebel, live from Slam FM.
She's like a superhero. No nervousness in her voice at all. Her superpower is that the more people she talks to, the more confident she gets. I feel like for most people, it would be the opposite. If I'm nervous to talk to one person, I'm probably not gonna be confident to talk to thousands of people over the radio. I don't know.
Okay, if you're with me on this, wear red tomorrow. It'll be like saying that despite our differences, we're in this together.
And just like that, everybody overnight is inspired. Everybody the next day is wearing red. It would have taken at least a week at my high school for everybody to get the memo, just because everybody would be afraid to be the only person who shows up wearing red. These two guys really doubled down on the red. They're like, we're not just gonna wear red shirts, we're gonna wear entire red matching uniforms. They're wearing more red than Radio Rebel is, and it was her idea. She's like, nah, I'm gonna wear blue. I'm gonna wear a blue hat instead.
So, check it out. Vibe it. Really, really dig on it. And then, remember that feeling. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., stop what you're doing, get up, and dance. Just express yourself, let yourself out.
Why do I get the feeling that by the end of this movie, there's gonna be a revolution? Everybody just lights the school on fire. She's like, I meant to inspire you, but not that much.
This was your idea. It's Brill.
They got the beat, they got the beat.
So a major plot point of this movie is that everybody is trying to figure out who Radio Rebel really is. The thing about these movies is, like, in real life, people are way better detectives than the people in these movies are. People found out who Sia was in like 2 weeks. People watch The Masked Singer when the person's voice is completely disguised, and if you go on Twitter within like 20 minutes, people already know who the person is. She's been doing this radio show for like years, and her best friends still don't know it's her. If I were Radio Rebel, I'd be feeling awful. I'd be like, how do you not know it's me?
Anyone with any information regarding the identity of this Radio Rebel is to report it to me immediately, or risk facing disciplinary actions themselves.
She's going about it the wrong way. Punishment, No, it doesn't work. If she wants Radio Rebel's identity revealed, she needs to be like, whoever figures this identity out, you automatically pass the SATs. That's it. No test, you pass. By the end of the day, they'd figure it out. Radio Rebel herself would be like, oh, it's me? That's me.
Guess who got nominated for prom queen?
Stacy?
You did! Well, not you. Radio Rebel.
Uh-oh, that's a big problem. So now Radio Rebel faces the big decision of, should I turn myself in and let people know who I am, or maybe win prom queen? Who knows?
As your BFF, TLEWE, I'm legally obligated to make sure you do the show.
It's kind of a weird thing, because if you do this, you're gonna be expelled, but I'm legally obligated, as your best friend, to make sure you go through with this.
The lunchtime dance party, that was a mistake. She wants to expel Radio Rebel as soon as she finds out who she is. This has gone too far.
Look, this is bigger than Slam, or Marino, or even me. Look, I know that it's risky. But I'm not going to back down.
You know, I think that's the most that I've ever heard Tara say at one time. You're on in 2 minutes.
It's kind of a weird response from a parent. She's basically like, I know it's risky. I know I'm probably going to be expelled. You could probably lose your job, but I'm not going to back down. And the stepdad's like,
I know that it's risky, but I'm not going to back down.
okay.
Well, she can't hide forever, which is why, until Radio Rebel's identity is revealed, I'm canceling the prom.
Don't cancel prom. That was the only reason I went to high school. So the principal wants to find out Radio Rebel's identity, so she cancels the prom. Why? That was the worst possible thing you could do. Radio Rebel is gonna be prom queen. If she just lets the prom go like it's supposed to go, Radio Rebel is gonna win prom queen. And then she has to go up on stage, and then you find out who Radio Rebel is. So why would you cancel your only way of finding out who Radio Rebel could be? So everyone starts protesting. They all hate Radio Rebel now. And then they just decide to throw their own prom party and call it Morp. So here's Morp.
Where's Tara?
More to the point, where's Radio Rebel?
Oh, my true love shall be revealed.
A lot of her friends are like kind of mean to her until they find out she's Radio Rebel.
I'm Radio Rebel.
I don't know why, instead of looking shocked, he just looks like upset. He looks like disappointed that it's Tara. He looks sad. He's like,
And now that I know who Radio Rebel is, she is definitely getting expelled.
I'm Radio Rebel!
No, I'm Radio Rebel.
No, I'm Radio Rebel!
I'm Radio Rebel.
I'm Radio Rebel!
And they did it. They ruined the principal's life. By saying this, she gets like embarrassed and leaves the stage. If you're the principal, I don't know how you go back to school the next day. Your whole entire school just overthrew you. So I don't know how you go back expecting the students to respect you anymore. Maybe that's how it ends. Maybe she quits her job.
There's a girl I've liked for a while now. She's the kind of girl who's not afraid to ask a dancing sandwich for some help. She inspired this song. The song's for her.
Oh, here we go. This is it. I've been waiting this whole movie for this one scene.
I needed you to look through to the shadows I draw and them out to the light. You show me I got nothing here to hide. Now I can be who.
And that's it. She gets the guy. They all celebrate, and I'm sure they get married. They have kids. The whole shebang. And that's it. That's Radio Rebel. I think the movie has a good message, but it's told in that very over-the-top Disney Channel way. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome, and I hope you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Damn.